Alright, time to cut an axle for this thing. Work out the length. Alright, I'll just grind some flats on this. It's less than 1 millimetre too long, isn't that the way? Okay, I need to grind a sliver off the ends of this. I just got a stand for that grinder, so it's a lot more useful now that it's anchored down. This goes on this way, so that the oil hole's at the front. Now there's soldering it. That's how it works. It gets very stiff around this part. Not sure why. Well, once the chain is on and it's been driven by the motor, that will be not a problem. Yeah, that's the Scotch Yoke scotching. Big milestone right there. Although from the top down view that I'm looking at, I may need to face off some of the back of that hub on the sprocket. I forgot to hit record, sorry. So I'm going to have to show you this way. As it stands, the block is currently placed about like that. It should be halfway, like that. So I'm going to have to thin down the hub of the sprocket a bit. Not too much, because then it'll lose a lot of where the structural integrity comes from. But I do need to take some off. Also, I don't know if it's because I left it a week, while I'm working, but it was spinning a lot more freely. Let's take the thrust washer off. Remember, in a container, otherwise you'll lose it. I'll put this block in here too. Okay, I did such a good fit on that I can't actually pull it out. It's not quite a press fit, but it's not a sliding fit either. It's trying to avoid that. I don't want to take these off entirely just yet for reasons that should soon become apparent. This is just a little bit too thick at the moment. I'm going to both deburr this and also thin it down a shade. If I put this on, I'll be able to tell that which parts I haven't thinned a bit. File card. I've heard some people say to not use file cards, and I've heard other people say that you should use file cards. I'm inclined towards the argument that preserves tool life, which I think is the file card, purely for the simple reason that the alternative is banging the file on something to try and shock the bits out, or using something worse than a file card, neither of which seems like a good idea. Just checking that the filing hadn't mucked up the threads on it. The threads were slightly manky, it seems, because this thumb screw on this is normally enough to turn it in. There we go. Hopefully that's got it to where I can snug these down and it'll still slide. Hopefully one shim should be enough for this. Right, a bit more bare shim stock. I would normally love to use my hole punch, but these are 8mm holes, not 6. I hold this here and use the ball peen hammer, will that round it off a bit? Yep. Hey! Alright, try and figure out which one's the 8mm. That says 9, I'll use that. I'm going to have to remember that burnishing the shims to find the holes. I saw a similar thing on YouTube for making gaskets. Seemed like a good idea, so I decided to pinch it. Hi George, I think I've got it. Oh, you were moving before. I need to take a little bit off these faces here, the screw's catching. Right. I'm not going to be able to center this properly, but it's okay. Someday soon I need to make a better faceplate. Not perfect, but not bad. Not a bad finish at all. It feels so cool to be able to turn steel rather than just alloy. Alright, I've taken a 2 or 3 millimeters off it. Alright, let's clean this up a bit. That's a lot better. That's pretty close to right. Well, the Scotch Yoke is now sitting entirely on the block. It's not on centre, but I also don't want to take off more than I have to of the sprocket hub, because that's what gives the sprocket its rigidity under load, because there will be a lot of torque going through that sprocket. So, just need to scrape in this top part and put the carriage, slide clampy things on. Should be good.